Hey everybody, welcome back. Brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday today on the show, on the Cabral Concept. Can't wait to get started because just like you, I am checking in on my New Year's goals. And I'm not talking about January 1st goal. I'm talking about the goals that we set for ourselves this year that we're not just looking to hopefully come true, that mean a lot to us, that if we accomplish them, we're going to move further forward in life. And to me, that means that more happiness, more peace, more contentment, we're able to be of greater service to our family, to our community, and many others as well. So what I like to do is every single quarter, as we follow our 12-week year, is to check in. I check in with myself. I ask myself the questions that I'm going to share with you on today's show. And if I've gone off track, which inevitably we do on certain goals, it is checking back in to see if we should get on that track in the first place, or if we should move on to something else. So I'm going to take you through this methodology right now. If you're unfamiliar with a 12-week year, I'm actually going to link to previous shows that I've done over the past couple of years. I'll probably link to maybe like the last 2 years shows that will share with you this beautiful concept. Basically, in a nutshell, if I can break it down for you, and I would love you to listen to the show, though, far more in depth. So I'll link it up at stevencabral.com/2621. That's where all of today's show notes will be. But what it says is this, is that typically we set a goal for the year. We might go strong in January or so, but as anybody who's ever worked at a gym or gone to a gym, you kind of see those New Year resolutions fall off by mid to late February. You know, people gave it their, I shouldn't say best effort, but they gave it a shot. I want to talk about why a lot of those fail as well. And I talk about that during the 12-week year. But also, as they start to move towards October and November, they're like, whoa, the year's almost over. Where did it go? We all say that as we start to get into our at least mid-30s to later 30s and beyond in life, because we realize how quickly the years go by. So then we're scrambling at the end of the year when it's busy anyways with the holidays and gatherings and all sorts of things. And we realize we're not going to accomplish our goals yet again for another year. So if we can check in at every 12 weeks throughout the year, we can begin to create what we call a 12-week year. So we take our big yearly goals and we chunk it down to say, hey, what's achievable within 12 weeks? And sometimes our entire goal is achievable within 12 weeks. Most of the time it is, and I give many examples with body transformation, health transformation, etc. And maybe I'll give you a couple of those refreshers here today as well. But then after that 12 weeks, we break things down, we chunk them down to 12 weeks. Okay, then we can chunk it down to 1 month, and then 1 week, and then every day, what are we doing to reach our goals? And that's really, so there's not a mystery. I think, and I like to share this a lot with whether it's our integrative health practitioners or IHP mastery students. What I share is this, is that achieving your goals is not a mystery. And it's not, happenstance as to whether it will actually happen or not, right? It is you deciding definitively and concretely, this is what I'm looking to achieve. When you write it down, when you open up your mind to those possibilities, you say, okay, this is actually what I want. Now the next step is, how do I go about achieving it? That's what the 12-week year is about. Now, the way that you go about achieving it is, yes, believing you can receive it, but also what are the action steps needed that you're doing your part, right? Like with God or the universe, you put it out there, you have faith that it will happen, but also that faith requires you then to take action. Show that you actually believe. Take a step forward in that direction. So that's what I like to share with you. That's what I've tried to live in my own life and have for some time. And what I've seen is that, I don't know that, sometimes when you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty miraculous. But all you're hoping to do is not necessarily jump and skip, all the way from A to Z, but to move up along the rungs. And so, okay, I go to A to B in the first quarter, right? First 12 weeks, then B to C, C to D, D to E. And if you just do that quarter after quarter, and you do it year after year, you can achieve anything, literally anything that you set your mind to. So what I want to do right now is check in with you. And if you haven't created your own 12-week year goals, okay, well, we'll give you previous podcasts. You check those out. But you'll be ahead of the game if you already know what I'm going to be asking you, and you should be asking yourself after these 12 weeks. So my first 12 weeks are January through March, and then we've got April, May, June, and so on right throughout the year. And you can be listening to this show anytime during the year, because the truth is you want to be recalibrating That's why we do it on a weekly basis as well. Have you hit your weekly goals? Okay, if you hit your weekly goals, well, then it should take care of your monthly goal, right? Because you don't wait till the last day of the month. And then if you hit your monthly goals all 3 months, well, you should hit your 12-week goal. And if you hit your 12-week goals throughout the year, well, guess what? If it was a big goal, you should have hit your 1-year goal. So that's how we look at it. So here's what I want you to think about this. So I want you to say, what goals did I set for myself this particular 12-week year or quarter? And did I achieve them? And so you're just basically going to say yes or no. And what I want you to first ask yourself, though, is, have you started working on them, right? So before we do that, before we get into the yes or no, honestly, have you thought about your goals? Have you made them concrete? Do you believe that you can achieve them if you put forth effort? Meaning, like, can you find the coach? Can you find the book? Can you find the course? Can you find the blueprint to do whatever it is that you want? Because I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to give examples from my field because I know my field. I don't know your field. But, my field, okay, do you want to become a certified health coach? You can do that. Do you want to become a certified personal trainer, massage therapist? Anything within the field. Do you want to do that? Okay, you can do it. Then how do you do it? Choose a certification. Begin to study the online courses. Set aside time each day in order to do that, right? So like you might say, okay, I want to pass level 1 to become a certified health coach as an integrative health practitioner. Okay, got it. What time do I need? To pass level 1, I need 30 minutes a day or 1 day a week for 2.5 hours. Great. Can I set that aside? Of course you can. So now when are you going to set it aside? That's the thing. And then you have to say every single morning from, let's say, 6:30 to 7 a.m. before you start getting ready for the day or whatever it might be, or from 9 to 9:30 at night, or from 12 to 12:30, right, at like around your lunchtime. So this is how we go about it. But now we then get into the questions. Okay, so let's maybe stick with the health coach certification, but it could be weight loss, like that's a big one as well. And I always tell people, you can lose 8 to 10 pounds a month for most people. All right. So even if you wanted to just say 8, let's say 25 pounds then over the course of 12 weeks. All right. I think that's fair, right? 8 times 3 is 24. Okay. So let's say 25 pounds over 3 months. If your goal is 50 pounds, okay, you have 2 12-week years. No big deal. 25 pounds for the first 12 weeks, 25 pounds for the second 12 weeks. Now, do I think it's going to be more front-loaded on the first 12 weeks where you might lose 30, 35 pounds, and then the last 12 weeks closer to maybe like 15 to 20 pounds? Yes, I do. But you can still set the parameter over that 12 weeks. And then you just know that you're going to lose more weight up front and a little less, about 1% of your body weight as you start to move through the latter weeks. Okay, so we've got that. Now, what about health? Okay, well, is it a digestive issue? We can solve that in 12 weeks. Is it an autoimmune issue? Okay, then it may take more like 3 to 6 months. So it's just 2 12-week years. That's it. Most people are never going to need the latter half of the year, the rest of the 12-week year protocols, which is basically the last 6 months. So we've got that. What about, and again, you can go down the line, career. Okay, well, how long does it take? Is it a degree program that takes 2 years? All right, well, you now have 8 12-week years. You can block out your semesters. But for the most part, a lot of these certifications that you need, whether it's becoming a real estate agent or other things like that, you don't need to necessarily slot out those things. So like getting back to the health coach certification. Okay, first 12 weeks, level 1. Get started then as a practitioner, another 12 weeks, let's say, for level 2. Okay, if you pen on paper, you'll be able to accomplish that. And then the next 12-week year would be say, okay, now I'm going to start to get out there teaching. You might even do that before that, trying to now get your own clientele, help people with health. And then, okay, what happens during that last 12-week year of the year? Now you have a practice that is up and running. You're seeing people, you've got your website, like all those different things that can all happen within 1 year. So what I'm trying to share with you is that big things can happen, but they start with just the first 12-week year. All right, so let's now get into it. So if you've set your goals and you have not started working on them, so you set your goals, maybe you did for a week or so, but 12 weeks has passed. Have you worked on them really for more than a week or two? If the answer is no, okay, we just have to ask a couple questions. Are you no longer interested? Because it's okay not to be interested. It really is. I've signed up for different courses in the past. I've bought a bunch of books. I've done different things and just said, you know what? I'm actually not as passionate or interested about this as I once thought that I was. And so it's okay to say that, but you want to start to go through the process, right? So if you started going through the process, you're like, you know what, I'm just not interested. That's okay. Better to then, that's why we follow this 12-week year. So you can just move on quick. Time to set a new goal. Not of an interest to you, no big deal. This is not, third grade. You don't have to finish the assignment. You're an adult. They're your goals. You've decided it's no longer interesting to you. Begin a new 12-week year with a brand new goal. Something that invigorates you, that wakes you up in the morning excited to get started. Sometimes it's challenging, there's no doubt about it, but it's moving you forward to a destination in life that you want to arrive at. All right, so let's say you still are interested though, right? If you're not interested, great, move on. It's quick. And then the next one is, okay, you're still interested. So you have to ask yourself then, why haven't you achieved it? What's the reason why? Okay, you wanted to study to become a certified health coach. Why didn't you do it? You have 30 minutes a day, right? Oh, there was a distraction in life. Something came up that was unexpected that took your mental focus and bandwidth, and you just weren't able to continue with it. It happens in life. Like, I want to be honest with you. It happens. But it's also why we have the 12-week year. Because I hope that whatever it was finite in time. A week, a month, 6 weeks, a couple months, right? But I hope that it's not taking up your entire year. So if it was just something unforeseen that came up and you're still interested, let's get back on track. Health, weight, it could be weight gain as well, of course, weight loss. It could be relationship-wise, spirituality-wise, career-wise, finance-wise, investing, whatever it might be. Choose it. Understand that life sometimes gets in the way, but we cannot allow it to dictate our entire life, and we get back on track. All right? So we just have to ask the question, why haven't we achieved it? Well, we may have underestimated. We might have been working on it, but it's actually not enough time for us. We need a little bit more time. Okay. How much more time do you need? Well, let's talk about that next. So let's say you've been working on it and you've been doing pretty diligent, right? Most days of the week, you've been following through in the plan. And let's say the plan was, weight loss. Let's move more towards that realm, or maybe even health in general. Okay, so you did, let's say, the CBO protocol for your digestion, and you are now on the CBO finisher, which is after the 12 weeks. And let's say that your digestive problems are now resolved, but you're still not losing weight at the clip that you would like to. Okay, so now what do we need to look at? Well, you're doing a low-carb diet. You're following this plan. You're doing that. Okay, you're not losing the 2 pounds a week that we want you to, or that you might want for yourself. What do we need now to do? Well, we need to begin to look at then a new plan, right? So if you have been following it, and you have not achieved your goal, and let's say it was 50 pounds, okay, well, you're probably not going to lose 50 pounds in 12 weeks. You're probably not. So the timeline was just unrealistic. Look more at 2 pounds a week, right? Okay, so we just reset the timeline. You probably don't have to do anything different, right? So that's the big thing. Like, should you have accomplished it in 12 weeks? If the answer is yes, okay, then now we look at what went wrong. Maybe just not enough time allocated. Maybe you actually needed 1 hour a day, not 30 minutes a day. And so now you realize that, but your schedule wasn't set up to be able to give you a half-hour time block in the morning and a half hour at lunch, right? Because maybe you can't find 1 hour together during the day. All right, so what do? Well, for this next 12 week, we build in that extra half hour. If it's stubborn weight loss, you're already doing the nutrition, you're already doing the exercise, what do we need to do? All right, well, we need to run something like the stress, mood, and metabolism test to look at your hormones, your thyroid, your vitamin D, your estrogen dominance, your cortisol levels, right? We need to look at those things, insulin, hemoglobin A1C, to see if it's actually a metabolic issue. Then when we get that data, we don't stop what we're doing right now. When we get that data, we then add that on. That's a nice add-on. And then we start to move faster towards our goals, right? So what we do is we set a new level, a new bar that we need to achieve. And maybe, again, maybe your clip, for the weight loss is just a pound a week. That might not be so bad either. You just say, okay, yeah, I've got 20 more pounds to go. I'm not going to do it over the next 12 weeks. I'm going to do it over the next 20 weeks. And you may have no problem with that, and neither do I, because it's your body, it's your life. And you might say at that time, you've also met a sustainable goal that you can then continue on with for the rest of your life. Enjoying a flex meal still once a week. You're getting in your steps. You're not doing over exercise, anything like that. So again, sometimes it's just that's why we have to get started. It's one of the biggest things I tell people is like, just get started. Even if it's the wrong action to take, as long as it's not going to dramatically set you back, take any action. Take some action so that you can learn from it. So here's the thing. The biggest thing is this. If you haven't gotten started, well, figure out why, and then it's time to start. And then if you have gotten started and just haven't achieved it yet, what we need to do is take the new plan, coach, blueprint, course, scheduling, etc., and I just gave it away, and actually schedule it, right? So now we need to put it into the schedule. On my iCal that I use on my laptop, and then it's on my phone, I actually have there all of the different scheduling events during my day. And so there are blocks that say writing. There are blocks that say recording for the podcast. There are blocks that say review client labs. There are blocks that say meet with teams. So all of those things are going to get done. And then there'll be projects for myself. There'll be projects for my family. So all of those things, if they get scheduled and you pay attention to your schedule, it gets done. And so that's such a big thing. And I'll be talking about more of kind of like the autonomous mode that we need to go in order to just be able to say, okay, taking the emotion, taking the feeling out of this, I'm going to work my schedule. Because if I work my schedule, everything takes care of itself. So as I've said before, figure out if no, is the goal important to you? If yes, recalibrate, get back on track, figure out what it is that you need. If you've been working on it, okay, good. Do you just need more time? Do you need to then do an add-on to your plan? Because sometimes a plan needs to be tweaked. The best plan in the world, sometimes it is a great plan. It just needs to be recalibrated a little bit more for you. Then we reschedule. So we schedule everything to make sure that it's on our calendar, that it will get done. And we just put forward that full effort and just keep on going. That's the thing. Continue to go. Every single week you get new data. You're able to analyze that, and that's going to give you more education as to how you can better reach those goals. So that is your new plan for these next 12 weeks. No matter where you are, just set a goal now. Set a goal this week that you can begin to implement for 12 weeks. Don't wait for the special, of the first week of April, the first week of August, whatever it might be. Just move forward with the plan. Or the first week of June, I should say. And as you move forward through the first week of October, get started with those 12-week plans. It can be any time of the year. So I always like to share this with people. I share this with my private wellness clients all the time. I want to share this with our community. Do not compromise with what you want out of life. Do not play for what you think you can have. Go for what it is that you want. You just want to find a new way of going about it. You might have set those goals in the past. That's okay. It's okay that things didn't work out. You found a few ways that didn't work. You're going to find a new way to go after it. Never compromise. This is your life. Thanks so much for tuning into today's Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. I thank you. If this was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it can serve. And for previous 12-week years on how to set up your year, head on over to episode 2621. That's StephenCabral.com/2621. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.